Good morning. In this recording, I'm going to solve problems for chapter 2. These problems are found in the PDF that I have attached to your files. Okay? So let's start first with problem 4, page 50. This problem says that a particle moves according to the equation x equals 10t square. So x is equal to 10t square, where x is in meters and t is in seconds. A. Find the average velocity for the time interval from 2 to 3. We have to find the average velocity between t1 equals 2 and t2 equals 3 seconds. So t1 equals 2 seconds and t2 is equal to 3 seconds. By definition, the average velocity is equal to displacement over time. It's delta x over delta t. So it's x2 minus x1 over t2 minus t1. x1 is the position at time t1 and x2 is the position at time t2. So at time t1, let's find x1. x1 it's equal to 10t squared. It's equal to 10. I will add 2 squared. I will get 40. SI unit is meter for x. For t2, I will get x2. It's equal to 10 times 3 squared. I will get 90 meter. Once I get my x1 and x2, now I can calculate the average velocity. It's called the average velocity displacement over time. It's 90 minus 40 over 3 minus 2, so it's 50 meter per second. This is part A. In part B, it says find the average velocity for the time interval from 2 to 2.10. This time interval is shorter, but also I can find an average velocity between any two times using the same method. So let's do it again. This is part B. I will take t1 equals 2 seconds. Let's find position at this instant. x1 equals, I've already found it, it's 10 2 squared. It's equal to 40 meter. Let's find at the other instant, let's find the position. So it's 2.1 seconds. I will get a position x2 equals 10. It's 2.1 squared. I will get 44.1 meter. Now let's calculate the average velocity. So V average equals displacement over time. It's equal to x2 minus x1 over t2 minus t1. It's equal to x2 was 44.1 minus 40 over 2.1 minus 2. You will get 4.1 over 0.1. We will get 41 meter per second. Okay, this is for the average velocity between 2 and 2.1. You can see that whenever I change the time interval between 2 and 3, the average velocity is different from the average between 2 and 2.1. It's okay because I'm finding an average velocity between two different instances. Okay, there's no problem. Now let's move to problem 5 in the same page. This problem 5 says, in page 50, it's in the same page, it says a person walks first at a constant speed of 5 meters per second along a straight line from a point A to a point B, and then back along the line from B to A at a constant speed of 3 meters per second. We have a person, okay, it's going from A to B. In its way from A to B, let's call V1 is the speed in its way from A to B. It's 5 meters per second. And it's going back from B to A, the speed is V2. It's equal to 3 meters per second. Okay, let us call D the distance between A and B. Okay. In part A, it says find the average speed over the entire trip. Okay, we have to find the average speed. So the average speed, let me write here, A, average speed is defined as the total distance, it's not the displacement, it's the total distance covered over the time, the total time or the time required by the motion. هلا كل المسافة اللي مشيها لما راح من ال A لعند ال B ورجع من ال B لعند ال A راح بالروحة دي ورجع بالرجعة دي, so I can say that the total distance is 2D. The time is not given. How can I find the time? بعرف أنا إنه its speed from A to B is different from its speed from B to A. So let's call the time from A to B T1 and the time needed from B to A T2. So I will write it this way. The total distance is 2D because it went from A to B, then from B to A, and the time needed to do this trip is T1 plus T2 plus T2. Okay, let's find T1. T1, it's equal to distance, which is AB, over V1. Why? Because T1 is the time needed from A to B. So I have to divide the distance by the speed. It's D over V1. So I will get D, I don't know it, over V1 it was 5. This is T1. T2 is the time from B to A. It's D over V2. So I will get D over 3. Okay, let's substitute here. So we will get the average speed equals 2D over D over 5 plus D over 3. I will cancel D, I will get 2 over 1 over 5 plus 1 over 3. I will get دي طارت اختزلناها 8 over 2, 1 over 5 plus 1 over 3, it's 8 over 15. I will get 15 over 4 or 3.75 meter per second. Okay, this is part A. In part B, it says her average velocity. الافريج velocity تعريفها شو؟ مش مثل الافريج سبيد، هي total distance traveled، كل شيء مشي على كل الوقت اللي قضاه، هي displacement over time. So when I talk about displacement هو الفرق ما بين وين كان وين صار. It's delta x over delta t. So it started from A and it ended up at A. So delta x is 0. كان على A ورجع على A. X initial, X final are equal. So I can say that the average speed, V average, I will call it this way, it's equal to delta X over delta T. It's equal to 0 over delta T. It's equal to 0. Why? Because the displacement is 0. It never moved from its position. It started at A and it ended up at A. So X initial minus X final is 0. Okay? For sure, it's 0 meter per second. Let's now move in same page for problem 5. Let me move down a little bit. Problem 5 says, 6 in page 50, it says the position of a particle moving along the x-axis varies in time according to the expression x equals 3t squared. So I have x as function of time. Let me write x. Okay, let me write x as function of time. So x, it's equal to 3t squared. Where x is in meters and t is in seconds, evaluate its position at t equals 3. We have to find x at t equals 3. This one is easy. So, part A, for t equals 3, we can find x. So x will be equal to we can call it, for example, x1. It's equal to 3 times 3 square. I will get 3 square, 9 times 3, I will get 27 meter. Okay, in part B, it says we have to find the position at a different time, okay, which is if t it's equal to 3 plus delta t, a different time. يعني جبنا على 3 وبدنا نجيب على 3 وشوي. Okay, so 3 plus delta t. So the new position x2 is equal to, I will substitute in the equation, it's 3 into 3 plus delta t square. Let us develop, we will get equals 3 into 9 plus delta t square plus 6 delta t. Let us develop and arrange, we will get 3 delta t squared plus 18 delta t plus 27. Okay, in part C it says evaluate the limit of delta x over delta t as delta t approaches 0 to find the velocity at t equals 3. In this problem, the aim of this problem is to understand that the instantaneous velocity is equal to the average velocity as delta t tends to 0. نحن بنعرف انه ال average velocity هي delta x over delta t. اوكي، بس لما الليمت او لما delta t tends to 0، يعني delta t الفرق ما بين نقطتين كتير يصير صغير، بصير الافريج هو عبارة عن instantaneous. So the instantaneous velocity at time t equals 3 it's equal to the limit as delta t tends to 0. بصير أنا عم بحكي عن t equals 3 و t equals 3 plus شوي صغيرة، فرق صغير اللي هو تقريبا 0. بكون عم بصير أنا ما بين 3 و 3 أصلا، فأنا كأني عم جيب الانستانتينيوس على 3. This is equal to, I will substitute, it will give me limit as delta t tends to 0. Let us substitute x2 minus x1 over delta t. It's equal to limit as delta t tends to 0. 3 delta t squared, I'm writing x2 plus 18 delta t plus 27 minus 27, all of it over delta t. Bad handwriting at the end. Okay, this is cancelled, so we will get equals limit as delta t tends to 0 for, I will put my 3 delta t squared plus 18 delta t over delta t. Let's remove delta t, we will get limit as delta t tends to 0, 3 delta t plus 18. Okay, it's like this. So is that delta t 0, this one is 0, we will get 18 meter per second. This 18 meter per second is the instantaneous velocity at t equals 3. ليه؟ لأنه أنا عملت الافريج ما بين t و t plus delta t وأخذت الدلتا t على الصفر، so صار كتير الافريج صغير، الافريج على 3، so I can find the instantaneous velocity using the definition. Now let's move to the next problem. Okay, this problem is on page 51. It's problem 15. Problem 15 says a particle moves along the x-axis according to the equation. We have an equation, x as function of time. It's x equals 2 plus 3t minus t squared, where x is in meters and t is in seconds. At t equals 3, find position, B velocity, C acceleration. He gave us a time, we have to find position, velocity and acceleration. كلنا بنعرف انه اذا معي الاكس بدي اجيب الفيلوسيتي v equals x prime والاي بتساوي v prime. بس اللي بدي نبه عليه شغله كتير مهمه، انه ما بنعوض التايم قبل ما نعمل الديريفاتيف. نعمل derivative بعدين بنعوض التايم كرمال ما يطلع معنا الجواب 0. So بدو البوزيشن at t equals 3. This is part A. Okay, part A. At t equals 3, let's find x. X it's equal to 2 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 squared. We will get 2 meters. It's equal to 2 meters. Now B, let's find the velocity. لأجيب velocity at t equals 3 كلنا بنعرف إنه v equals x prime. ما بعمل لهيدي الx، صح أنا بدي أجيب على 3 بس بعمل للأساسية، وبعد ما أعمل الأساسية بعوض time t equals 3. So v equals x prime, we will get 3 minus 2t. Now after finding the velocity at any time, this is the velocity at any time. After finding the velocity at any time, now at t equals 3 يطلع أنا عندي v equals 3 minus 2 times 3. It will get 3 minus 6. It will be minus 3 meter per second. Now let's find in part C acceleration. A equals v prime. بعمل derivative velocity at any time. ما بعمل velocity at a certain instant. بعمل للأساسية. So I will get derivative. It's minus 2 meter per second squared. ما في مشكلة طلعت معي constant. In this case لما تطلع ال A constant, it means that the motion is uniformly accelerated motion or decelerated motion. Anyway, it's a uniformly varied rectilinear motion. Okay, so I have found A. هيدي ال A اللي أنا بلاقيها هي ال acceleration at any time. At any time. بس ثاقبت هون بالسؤال إنه طلعت معي time independent. So this A is constant at all times. So at t equals 3, it will also be minus 2 meters per second. So at t equals 3, acceleration is always minus 2 meters per second squared because it is time independent. Now let's move to problem 16, page 51. Okay, this problem says بس قبل ما تشتغلوا هيدي البروبلم I need you to correct something which is here in part A. هون حاطوا speed بالسؤال. It's not the speed, it is the velocity. Okay, so in this part بيقلنا an object moves along the x-axis according to the equation x equals 3t squared minus 2t plus 3 meter. So x, it's equal, I will choose the black one, x equals 3t squared minus 2t plus 3. This is x. We have to find the average velocity between t equals 2 seconds and t equals 3 seconds. This is part A. So to find the average velocity بنلاقي delta x يعني بنلاقي x2 minus x1. Let's find x at 2 and x at 3. So at t equals 2, we will get x equals, let me call it x if you want t1. Okay, and this is, let me call it x1. So it will be 2 squared minus 2 plus 3. We will get 2 squared for 12. Okay, we will get 11. This is 11 meter. At the second time, at t2 equals 3 seconds for sure, we can find x2. It's equal to 3 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 3. Calculate them, we will get 24 meter. Now we have to find the average velocity between these two times. It's equal to the displacement over time. it's equal to x2 minus x1 over t2 minus t1, 62. It's equal to 24 minus 11 over t2 is how much? T2, it's 3 minus 2. Okay, so I will get 13 over 1. It's 13 meter per second. لقينا average velocity. Now بقلنا بده instantaneous speed at t equals 2 and at t equals 3. Let's find them. Okay, so this is part B. كيف بلاقي ال V أنا إذا معي ال X؟ So V is equal, it's equal to X prime. I have to derive. بيطلع معي أنا 6t minus 2. هيدي هي ال velocity at any time. هلا إذا أنا بدي لاقي على t equals 2 for t1 equals 2 seconds, we will get v1 بعوض 2 بيطلع معي 6, 2 minus 2 بيطلع معي 10 meter per second. إذا أنا بجيبها in general للvelocity. أوكي، من بعد ما أجيبها بعوض بقلبها. أوكي، so t2 equals 3 seconds, we will get v2 it's equal to 6, 3 minus 2, 18 ناقص 2, we will get 16 meter per second. In part C بقلنا we have to determine the average acceleration between T2 and T3. So this is part C. ال A average شو تعريفها؟ هي delta V over delta T اللي هي V2 minus V1 على T2 minus T1. إذا أنا عم لاقي الافرج ما بين وقت 2 ووقت 3 لازم حط السرعة على initially على time 2 والسرعة finally على time 3 over الوقت على 2 والوقت على 3. Okay, so I have to substitute these numbers that I have already found up. I will substitute, I will get 16 minus 10 over 3 minus 2. I will get 6 over 1, it's 6. Unit for acceleration, it's meter per second squared. Okay, this is the average acceleration. In part D بقلنا بده ال instantaneous acceleration at t equals 2 and at t equals 3. We have to find A instantaneous. ال A instantaneous كيف بلاقيها أنا بالديريفاتيف؟ لمين بعمل ديريفاتيف؟ للvelocity at any time. بعمل لهيدي للvelocity at any time. ما بعمل للvelocity اللي عوضت فيها رقم، بعمل للأساسية. So A it's equal derivative يطلع معي 6. ما في بقلبها t بيطلع meter per second squared. طلعت معي time independent، هيدا بيعني انه هي constant. كرمال هيك طلعت معي الافريج قد الانستانتينيوس acceleration. ليه طلعوا بيساووا بعض؟ لانه الاكسلريشن هي ثابته بالاساس، فقد ما مشي حتى لو انا عملت افريج رح يطلع معي بالاخر المعدل قد الانستانتينيوس لانه it's constant all the time. So بهيدي الحاله ال A instantaneous it's equal to 6 meter per second squared, and this is the acceleration at any time. ومن ضمنهم الوقتين اللي هن t equals 2 و t equals 3 طلعت ثابت time independent. Okay, let me write here انه it includes now if I have space at any time which includes t1 اللي هو 2 seconds and t2 اللي هو 3 seconds. Okay, now let's move to problem 43, page 53. Problem 43 says A student throws a set of keys vertically upward to her sorority sister who is in a window 4 meters above. Okay, so the sister is 4 meters above the place where the keys were thrown. The keys are caught 1.5 seconds later by the sister's outstretched hand. A. With what initial velocity were the keys thrown? I will draw what happened. Okay, let me draw it here. So we have, sorry, it's just I have to choose my pen. Okay, so I have my y-axis, this is my y-axis, and the keys were thrown from a point O. Just I choose another color with an initial velocity v0. Okay, this is the initial speed of the keys, and the black color is the y-axis. This is the y-axis. So at a certain altitude, when they arrive to a height or to an altitude y equals 4 meter, the time was 1.5 seconds. هيك كان الجيفن انه لما كمشتهم كانت ارتفاعهم عن الأو 4 meters وكان صار مرق وقت 1.5 seconds. بقلنا in part A, with what initial velocity were the keys thrown? So I have to find V0. This is part A, we have to find V0. Okay, because I'm talking about a free fall, في 3 important equations I have to keep them in mind إذا أنا بدي أشتغل بالفري fall. What are these equations? These equations I will remind you. أول وحدة اللي هي V equals minus GT plus V0. وهون minus G إذا أنا أخذ ال Y axis upward. تذكروا okay? My axis is always upward, so I write minus G because acceleration is downward because attraction of Earth is downward. هيدا أول فورمولا. تاني فورمولا بنستعملها هي Y equals minus half GT square plus V0t plus Y0. تالت فورمولا مهمة هي V square minus V0 square equals minus 2G Y minus Y0. These equations الثلاثة أنا بدي استعملهم كل مرة بيكون عندي سؤال free fall. أوكي؟ أي وحدة بستعمل حسب الجيفن. تالت وحدة time independent، فأنا هون مش بحاجتها لأنه أنا معي time given، في time given so I will use the time. وأنا معي y فالأقرب إنه أنا استخدم تاني فورمولا لأنه أنا معي y ومعي t so I will use the second formula. Let us use the second formula. So y equals minus half g t square plus v0t plus y0. So مرقت هي بنقطة 4 كان عندها altitude 4 equals minus half g it's 9.8. t كانت مرق وقت لما مرقت بارتفاع ال 4 كانت time 1.5 so it's 1.5 squared plus v0 I have to find it time it is 1.5. y0 هي شو؟ هي الانيشال position لما كبيناها it was y0 لأنه أنا أخذت كبيتها أخذت ال O محل ما أنا أو محل ما ال student throw the keys. Okay, so y0 is 0. y0 is 0 plus 0. You can calculate it. You will get v0 implies v0 it's equal, I have calculated it, it's equal to 10 meter per second. Okay, as you can see v0 is positive. هيدا بيعني انه الكيز were thrown v0 upward. هو شيء صح لانه لو كانوا thrown downward ما كانوا وصلوا لعندها so it will be wrong. So physically it must be positive كرمال يطلعوا لعندها. They were thrown upward. v0 was upward. In part B بيقلنا what was the velocity of the keys just before they were caught. لما كمشتهم قد ايه كانت سرعتهم؟ Which one to choose? I will choose the first formula لأنه أنا معي الوقت ومعي ال V0 so I can use the first formula. Okay, this is part B. V it's equal to minus GT plus V0. I will substitute. It's 9.8 time was 1.5, V0 was 10. I have calculated it. It was approximately minus 4.7 okay meter per second. As you can see الفي طلعت معي نيجاتيف. هيدا بيعني انه هي كمشتهم هن ونازلين نزول المفاتيح، مش انه طالعين هن ونازلين، هن طلعوا ورجعوا نزلوا هن ونازلين كمشتهم. واي كيف عرفت؟ لانه الفي اللي طلعت معي على الوقت 1.5 اوكي كان عندهم نيجاتيف دايركشن، سو اتجاه الفي بهيدي اللحظه بعكس اتجاه الواي اكسس، سو هي لقطت المفاتيح هن ونازلين نزول. We can say that the motion of the keys was downward. Okay, this is for problem 43. Now let's move to problem 51, page 54. Problem 51 says the height of a helicopter above the ground is given by h equals 3t cube. I can call it y لأنه هو بالنهاية height, where h is in meters and t is in seconds. After 2 seconds, the helicopter releases a small mail bag. How long he's asking for time, after its release does the mailbox reach the ground? So أنا عندي ground, helicopter was moving upward من الجراوند، عم تطلع طلوع الهليكوبتر. I will take my y-axis upward. This is my y-axis. I will take the origin of my axis at the ground. This is O. Okay. The helicopter is somewhere along y-axis. بكل وقت بيكون عندها altitude مختلف. It's moving upward the helicopter. So أنا بهمني at a time t equals 2 seconds. على 2 seconds وين كانت الهليكوبتر؟ What was its speed؟ لأنه حسب ارتفاعها وحسب سرعتها بتكون سرعة الميل بوكس وبيكون قد ايه بده وقت ليوصل على الأرض. So let's first find the position and the speed or the velocity of the helicopter when it threw the mailbox. Okay? So the position of the position of helicopter as it throws the mailbox ده بيطلع at t equals 2, so I will substitute. I will get y للهليكوبتر YH, it's equal to 3 2 cube, it's equal to how much? It's equal to 24 meter. جبنا الواي للهليكوبتر. Now let's find its speed. كيف بلاقي السبيد للهليكوبتر؟ V للهليكوبتر. Let me write the velocity of the helicopter is. كيف بجيب الفي بشكل عام؟ بعمل derivative للx. هون نحن عم نمشي على الواي axis, so بعمل derivative للواي. نحن قلنا بالنهاية نحن عم نستعمل axis إن كان x ولا إن كان y. Anyway, I just derive it. So v it's equal to y prime. هو مسميها h. So it will be derivative. It will be 3 times 3. It will be 9t squared. أنا بدي السرعة بالتايم t equals 2 لأنه أنا ما بيهمني السرعة تبع حي للحظة، بيهمني سرعتها بهيدي اللحظة المعينة لأنه بهيدي اللحظة كبت الميل بوكس. So at t equals 2 seconds الفي للهليكوبتر كانت 9 2 squared بطلع معي 9 ب4 36 متر per second. أوكي صار معنا the height of the helicopter and the speed of the helicopter when it through the mailbox. هيدا كله شو بيفيدني؟ بيفيدني انه انا عرفت لما صار في عندي free fall قد ايه كانت الواي 0 للميل بوكس وقد ايه كانت الفي 0 للميل بوكس. الواي 0 كانت للميل بوكس قد الواي للهليكوبتر، والفي 0 للميل بوكس قد الفي للهليكوبتر لانه هو بياخد سرعتها، فهي انت بس زدتها منه. So let me write 4 the free fall of the mailbox صار معي أنا إنه الواي زيرو تاعيته هي قد الواي للهليكوبتر اللي أنا جبتها اللي هي 24 متر، وال V0 هي سرعة الفري فول. اوكي it is ال V للهليكوبتر it's equal to 36 meter per second. هلا صار معي الواي 0 والفي 0 للفري فول، صارت بقدر لاقي التايم تو ريتش ذا جراوند. انا بعرف انه الواي فاينل واي انيشال او واي 0 كانت 24 والفي انيشال كانت 36 او الفي 0 كانت 36. سو فاينلي رح يوصل على الارض رح يكون معه الواي فاينل. اوكي واي فاينل will be 0. اوكي let's use the formula that contains y. نحن عندنا 3 formulas للفري فول. انا بدي التايم فرح استعمل وحده من الاثنين اللي فوق. بما انه انا معي الواي given رح استعمل الثانيه اللي هي y equals minus half gt square plus v0t plus y0. دايما هيدول الواي والواي 0 والفي 0 هيدا الواي هو عباره عن الواي فاينل، الواي 0 هو الواي انيشال، الفي 0 هي السبيد انيشال للفري فول. سو انا بعوض فاينلي هو وين رح يوصل؟ رح يوصل على الزيرو، رح ينزل على الارض. فانا بعتبر انه الواي هي 0 equals minus half g هي 9.8. التايم was I have to find the time t squared plus v0 جبتها انا اللي هي 36 t plus y0 هي الانيشال height of the mailbox that was 24. okay let me arrange it. I will get minus 4.9 t squared plus 36 t plus 24, it's equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. You solve it using the calculator. You will get two solutions for t. t1 it's equal to minus 0.615. it is negative, rejected. This one is rejected. It is negative, and we will get t2 equals 7.96 seconds. This one is accepted. This is the time needed for the mailbox to reach the ground. Let me now do problem 52, page 54. Problem 52 says a freely falling object requires 1.5 seconds to travel the last 30 minutes before it hits the ground. From what height above the ground did it fall? So this is the ground. This is the ground. Okay, I have thrown an object with a velocity v0 equals to 0 and altitude that I am going to find. Okay, بقلنا it reaches a point, let's call it 1. I don't know v1 with a speed v1 and a height y1. y1 is 30 meters above the ground. So y1 is 30 meters and it hits the ground, okay, with an altitude y2. This is, let's call y2 equals 0 because it hits the ground with a 0 altitude. التايم ما بين الوقت 1 و 2 ما بين الإيفنت 1 and 2, the time here between 1 and 2 t, it's equal to 1.5 seconds. This is the time. Okay, بقلنا from what height above the ground did it fall? I have to find y0. Let me remind you with the equation. Y equals minus half g t square plus v0 t plus y0. هيدي الفورمولا إذا أنا استعملتها، أوكي، إذا بحط هون y1 وهون y0 و v0 لازم يكون t هو الوقت ما بين الزيرو والون. إذا أنا بحط هون 2، أوكي، y2 يعني بيكون هي t لازم أحط هون t هو الوقت ما بين الزيرو والتو. بس أنا ما معي بالجيفن هيك، أنا معي الوقت ما بين ال 1 وال 2. In reality this formula is valid between any two instances. ما زال لي أنا free fall. I can apply it between any two instances, or I can write it this way: y final equals minus half g t square plus v initial t plus y initial. والtime والt هي التايم between I and F, between initial and final. اوكي سو انا فيني اطبقها هيدي حيلا بين حيلا تو انستنس انا بيعجبوني. هو معطيني بالسؤال الوقت ما بين 1 و 2، سو انا فيني اعتبر الواي فاينل هي 2 والواي انيشال هي ال1، بالنهاية هن هيدول جزء من فري فول. So I can apply the same formulas to these two instances. Let me apply them between 1 and 2. I will get y2 equals minus half g t squared plus v1 t plus y1. I will get y2 is 0. ليش عم بعمل هيك؟ لأنه أنا معي التي ما بين الواحد واثنين وبدي استفيد منها. أوكي I will get minus half 9.8 t اللي هي 1.5 squared plus v1 أنا ما معي إياها v1 times 1.5 plus y1 اللي هي 30 meter. Okay, I solve this one. I will get v1 it's equal to, I've calculated it, it's minus 12.65 meter per second. It is negative يعني it's moving downward. هو شيء صح لأنه هو مشي من ال v0 لعند ال 1 بيرجع لعند ال 2. okay so apparently physically it's true. هلا شو أنا بستفيد من ال v1؟ أنا ما بدي ال v1، أنا بدي ال y0. فيني أربط هلا ال v1 بال v0 من خلال الفورمولا اللي هي time independent. So let me use the formula. I will work between 0 and 1 هلا. So I will say v1 square minus v0 squared equals minus 2g y1 minus y0. أنا بهمني لاقي ال y0. okay implies v1 it's minus 12.65 squared minus v0 it was 0 squared equals minus 2 9.8. y1 was 30 minus y0. So in this way I can find y0, which is equal to 38.16 meter.